During this week for on economical principles, we have touch base on monopoly, oligopoly, and antitrust regulations. And even though there are very few monopolies in existence nowadays, we deal with some of those, you know, uh, every day and often without realizing it. For example, the U.S. Postal Services, your electric and garbage collection companies are a few examples of such monopolies that we face on a daily basis. So, this week we analyzed the types of imperfectly competitive markets. We saw the monopolistics and oligopolistics competition, and also we touch base on methods of antitrust regulations to avoid such imperfections. Um, you have read a lot of that material, but I want to make sure to point out about these key concepts that in week four are very important. So let's start. The first point is how monopolies form and basically the barriers of entry, right? So, barriers to entry prevent or discourage competitors from entering the market. These barriers include economies of scale that lead to a natural monopoly, control of a physical resource, legal restrictions on competition, or other common things are patent, trademark, and copyright protections, and practices to intimidate the competitions like predatory pricing. So, intellectual property refers to legally guaranteed ownership of an idea rather than a physical item. The laws that protect intellectual property include patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets. A natural monopoly arises when economies of scale persist over a large enough range of output that in one firm supplies the entire market. No other firm can enter without facing a cost disadvantage. Then the other concept that I want to touch base on is oligopoly, right? And oligopoly is situation where a few firms sell most of all those goods in the market. Oligopolists earn their highest profits if they can band together as a cartel and act like a monopolistic by reducing output and raising price. Since each member of the oligopoly can benefit individually from expanding output, such collusion often breaks down, especially since explicit collusion is illegal. So basically, firms cannot, on purpose, damage market conditions in order to get profit. Um, for example, the personal dilemma is an example of the application of game theory to analysis the oligopoly. It shows how, in certain situations, all sides can benefit from cooperative behavior rather than self-interest behavior. However, the challenge for the parties is to find ways to encourage cooperative behavior. Not all firms and organizations are open to do so, especially with the market regulations that are in place nowadays. As noted, we have natural monopolies that we face in a day-to-day basis, right? So, regulating natural monopolies it is important. In the case of a natural monopoly, market competition we know will not work well So rather than allowing an unregulated monopoly to rise price and reduce output, the government may wish to regulate price and/or output. Common examples of regulation are public utilities, the regulated firms that often provide electricity and water service, or let's say the postal service, right? So, cost plus regulation refers to government regulated a firm which sets the price that a firm can charge over a period of time by looking at the firm's accounting cost and then adding a normal rate of profit. Price cap regulation refers to government regulation of a firm where the government sets a price level several years in advance. In this case, the firm can either earn high profits if it manages to produce at lower costs, or sell a higher quantity than expected, or suffer low profits or losses if costs are high, or if it sells less than expected. Finally, I think something really important is to check about the greater regulation experiments, right? In the U.S. Economy experienced a wave of deregulation in the late 70s and early 80s when the government eliminated a number of regulations that had set prices and quantities produced in a number of industries. Major accounting scandals in the early 2000s, like you may remember or recall, Enron, by instance, and more recently the Great Depression, have spurred new regulation to prevent similar occurrences in the future. So, regulatory capture occurs when the regulated industries end up having a strong influence over what regulation exists. If we see in the recent Great Depressions of 2008 that firms that were too big to fail basically had an extreme power over the regulations itself. So I highly suggest to check this matter deeper. There is a great documentary that it's called The Smartest Guys in the Room that shows all the Enron scandal that you should check. It will be very valuable for you, for your knowledge and for your understanding on why regulation is important. Okay, so I'm happy to finish this mid semester week, and I hope you're enjoying this course.